Hi, my name's Andi Morley. I work for the Manchester College, currently teaching the Carpentry and Joinery department with classes ranging from E3 to level 3. With the use of iPads, everybody wants to use an iPad or wants to use a tablet. There's a big boom within the industry. Whilst working at the college, I obtained a part job as an ILT champion for the college. Whilst within that role, I noticed on the GIST website about a conference called Keep Taking the Tablets. So I went along to that and then saw the different ways that an iPad could be used for education, not just for portfolios but for involving learners from E3 to HE, etc. So it just captivates the audience in a different way than just chalk and talk really, and other group works, but it was something interactive that is the way society is going. The iPads within the college were distributed to assessors, so primarily they were used for ePortfolios for MVQ evidence to be gained, using a system called OneFile. Whilst the assessors had that, we then started getting involved in using a VMware so that we could access college databases whilst on the move, plus within the college as well. Whilst using that, then it also pushed the use for register usage, for marking learners, for using Pro Monitor, so you can mark learners' targets and progression, but then making it more interactive by using the tablets as a tool. In some of my classes I use it for using with as your main smart board, so it's linked from your iPad, so whatever you do is on the screen. So it's just taking it a bit further to make it more interactive. So I use my laptop and connect it up to via the wireless network, and then that pushes it onto the screen, so we can do whatever I do, mirrors onto the laptop and goes onto the screen. And I use that in the practical workshop and in the classrooms. It's give the learners more of an ownership of the course, so sometimes they might have some tech but some learners don't. Well, most learners have a smartphone of some description, but then there's always some learners who don't. So for some of them, I've lent them an iPad mini for instance, and it's been able to help them continue with their studies and push their MVQ along a lot faster than if they didn't have them. So you can see that they're progressing faster than the people who haven't got the technology, if you like. So you can see that it's working well, but also it's giving them a little bit of a smile on the face when you say here's an iPad, what I'll loan you for a little bit. So you have a little smile and they feel like they're wanted, or they feel a little bit special that they've been given this tech to use, because everyone wants one. It's like when you want to unwrap it for the first time and take the screen cover off. They get that moment where they want to do it, they might never get it, some students, because they're not as fortunate as others. So it has quite given a bit of a wow factor, and everyone wants one now, and every member of staff wants one. So it's been quite encouraging really, but expensive. The main app that they use for MVQ would be the Nomad app for the OneFile system. Within that, it utilises the camera functionality, so they can record videos, voice memos, etc. through just the standard applications on the iPad. So they can use the camera functionality from that, and anything they've saved previous they can upload to the portfolio, whether it be, as I said, a voice recording, video, or any photographic evidence can all be put in. Use witness testing is using a voice recorder, so it can all be saved previous and then can be sent in and uploaded to the portfolio whenever they need it. Portfolios works quite well. There is an offline function on the OneFile, so you can click it, and once you've observed them and you've filled in the necessary paperwork and updated it, there's actually a sign function, so if you press a button it will open up the documentation, and then they can finger sign the iPad, which will then put a date and time onto that, so it helps with EVs because they see it. If you don't use it that way, because the learner logs into an account in the similar way a bank uses a checkbox to say that you agree to the terms and conditions, the application uses that, so you have an application that you've logged into with your own username and password, so that no one else has it, so you've ticked a box, so therefore that's a legitimate signature. After working with my iPad on a daily basis, I tend to use a VMware as the main one. So the VMware will work to let me log into my college desktop, so I can access registers, do Word documents, do update PowerPoints, etc. Or access any college systems with Silverlight on, because tablets don't seem to have Silverlight unless they're Microsoft. So it gets around that issue really, so you can work with everything. Practically as a teacher, I tend to use Explain Everything is one of the main ones. I link it to the screen, so whatever I do on the iPad is on the screen for the class to see. So if I want to see what they're doing, I can open the camera function and it will display it to everybody, or I can video a demonstration and then I can get them to replay it on the screen rather than having to over and over do the demonstration, so it works in a tutor saving device as much as anything. One called Doodle Buddy for them, because they can entertain them a little bit, so I'll do little word searches on it and things. And one of the other ones is Prezi. If anyone uses a Prezi, that's similar to PowerPoint but a lot more imaginative in a way it is. You can still get bored from it, but it involves the students a bit more, but you can link it from your iPad like you can the PowerPoint, so you just go to your next slide or back or zoom in from wherever you are as you're working, which is a lot easier than standing at the front. You can walk around and show someone on your iPad if they couldn't see the screen properly, or you can involve them a little bit and let them have a go. Be context, which is very similar to Explain Everything. There's quite a few of them out that are very similar, but I think it's a trial and error, and I found that Explain. Give them some games for a starter, that's always good. 3X Tools it's called, it's like a 3 strikes game. So it's a tool recognition, so if, each learner can have a go, and it will throw up 4 pictures or 5 pictures of a tool, and it will give a title, and you've got to match it obviously to what the title or description say. If you get 3 wrong, then it's over, and it gives you a score. Then it's a good start activity to get them going, practical or theory wise. There's also Quizard, that's quite a good one. That's worked quite well last year on Judy's recommendation. So that worked quite well. I've got the students that have managed to make their own as well, so within a class you can get them to do various revision sheets or quizzes, or you can do word association, so you can have what is a surveyor and have a description, and they've got to match it, but it could be mixed in with a lot of other characteristics on the screen. Or you could have a PPE, and then you could have the understanding of it, or a hard hat, or all the regulations involved with health and safety and their explanations, and they've got to match them up within a certain time. And then you find that students will make their own up then, so then they'll test each other. And then last year we had a competition, a lad was doing it in under 6 seconds, he was getting it done. So it's quite good because he gets them involved and into it, and sometimes they won't start a lesson because they all want to beat each other's score, so it's quite good how it gets them interacted that quick. So that's a really good one, Quizard. I'd definitely recommend that. The main difference will be trying to use it more rather than using it for set times, or just for a theory class or just a classroom situation, involving it more. We're trying to use it more for everyday situations, so it becomes a natural part of your toolbox. So rather than carrying papers, you carry your iPad, which will give you the tools to motivate your class and to educate them at the same time. So whatever situation you're in, you will use it on a daily basis rather than a paper alternative. Obviously try and involve the students a lot more with it, so that rather than you being the main user of it, that we're handing it over a lot more than we do to the students, so that they're using it more to get the most out of the session and involve them in the use of the technology. The main tip I'd give anyone is just to experiment, just spend some time having a go at different things. Apps that you'll get recommended to you might work for them, but then they don't always work for you. It's just finding what you're comfortable with. Sometimes thinking outside the box of the way you work, but try and think from the side of the learner of what they're doing. They're always on the phones, they're always on their equipment. What are they doing, how they're doing it. Look at what they're doing and see if you can incorporate the way they're working it through the way you can do it, to try and get through to them in a different way that's relevant, because that's what they're choosing to do rather than being told to do. Don't be shy. The worst thing is you feel a bit of a burk at first, walking around you a bit like that, but just do it. Just have the confidence in it and get on with it. And they'll enjoy it, they'll like it, and there's a bit of a, ooh, there's an iPad come out, but you'll get into it, they'll like it, and it'll grow and just get used to it. Yeah, sometimes they'll say, have you been on this, or have you done that, or check this out, when they've got hold of it and they're tapping away and they'll go on it, and it is good, but then that's obviously getting their interest into, it's building relationships and getting their interest involved in what you're doing, and they'll go, well, we could do this instead, and it gives them ownership of the course, and they're sort of looking at it from, well, we've got this there, what if Sir lets us do this, or then it works then, because they're suggesting it.